Welcome to the Secrets of Weight Loss podcast. If this is your first time listening, well, hello, I'm Roberto, your host, and a once morbidly obese man. I used to weigh 23.5 stone. I lost 10 stone of that, and I've kept it off for over 10 years. And that's kind of where the podcast come from, because everyone always asks me, how did you lose your weight? And when I tell them, they go, oh, wow, that's impressive. I don't think I could do that. I wanted to find out how other people have lost their weight successfully and kept it off, because if they can do it, then so can you. And it's about finding something that works for you. I've had so many lovely messages from people about ideas they've heard on the podcast and things they hadn't thought about or tried. And you might find something there as well. So make sure you have a listen to the other episodes that are out there and hit subscribe also so you don't miss a future episode. And of course, you can always get in touch with me. I love hearing from you. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Just search Roberto Presents. This week's episode involves a brilliant, inspirational weight loss story from a lady who started gaining weight due to the pressures of life, discovered a medical issue which made it harder for her to lose weight, got called things like baby hippo by family members, and much more. But she's turned it around, lost 8 stone, and is now helping others get fit and find that right mindset with her own podcast and website. But how did she do it? That's the question. We'll meet Aishah in a moment, and I can't wait for you to hear her story. Obviously, everything Aishah talks about are her own experiences and opinions, and not those of the Secrets of Weight Loss podcast or myself. You'll be able to read a fully transcribed version of this episode and find links to the things that Aishah talks about on our website, which is thesecretsofweightloss.com. So, without further ado, let's meet Aishah. The Secrets of Weight Loss podcast. So Aishah, welcome to the podcast. Let's start the way we always do. What did you weigh at your heaviest?
So that was 260 pounds, which is 18 stones and 8 pounds.
And what do you weigh now?
10 stones on a good day.
You've lost 8 stone. That is absolutely brilliant. How does that make you feel?
Like a different person altogether.
You've basically shed a person.
Yeah, like my best friend is just over 7.5 stone. And I've lost 8.5. So it's like I've lost her as a person, which is crazy.
It's just mental when you put it that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how does that 8 stone weight loss translate into dress sizes?
So, I mean, I obviously never wore dresses when I was a bigger girl because why would I? But my trousers used to be a size 20 and now they're a size 10. I did a post actually a couple of days ago where I managed to put both of my legs in one trouser leg. And I call it my mermaid picture.
I've done one of those with a T-shirt as well. I found an old T-shirt of mine that when I was fat, I thought was hilarious. It said wide load on it and like on the back of a truck. And I could get basically 2 of me into that T-shirt. It's brilliant. It's such a great feeling though, isn't it?
It's mental. It is like becoming a totally different person.
Why didn't you wear dresses then? Explain that one to me when you were big.
I mean, I knew I was big and I just knew that I looked ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, I know there are women who are size 18, 20 who love to wear dresses and are really, really happy with their bodies, and that's fine. But I wasn't. I think it's fine if you're happy with the way you look, then you wear what you want and you don't care what anyone thinks. But I did feel uncomfortable in my own skin. So I would always be in the black trackies and black hoodies, anything that I felt would kind of camouflage me. So there was no way I was going to wear a dress ever.
I see. So let's get into this then. How did you get big to start with?
I think it was a culmination of things. It was overeating, eating my feelings. I never really said how I felt. I'd keep a lot of things in, and that led to eating a lot more than I should have. I had a really bad breakup at uni, which just made me binge. I had a cancer scare and I didn't tell anyone about it. So I just decided, right, I didn't know at this point, but I was like, if I'm going to die anyway, who gives a crap? And I just ate anything and everything under the sun. And I also had polycystic ovaries, which I didn't know about, but I did actually have, which meant that my body has more testosterone than a normal woman, not as much as a man. But I've got more testosterone and less estrogen, and it means that I have to work harder to lose weight and I have to consume less calories in order to lose the same amount of weight. So although on a normal day, I wasn't eating more than what you'd think reasonable, my body just was like, what are you doing? And it was just packing on the pounds.
And I suppose it's a vicious circle as well, isn't it? Because you see yourself that size, you're not happy with that size, that upsets you, so you then go and eat.
It upsets you. You go and eat, and then you've got those moments where you're like, okay, I can do this, but everything around you is a quick fix. So I don't know if you remember, Atkins was huge. And I think now it's kind of keto or semi-Atkins or whatever you want to call it. But back then, Atkins was absolutely everywhere. So I went on Atkins. I lost half a stone in a week, but it's not sustainable. And eventually I put it back on. I tried the Master Cleanse, which was absolutely horrendous. Tried it. I think I got through 3 days. Hated it.
What is the Master Cleanse? I've never heard of that one.
Oh, I think that's more an American thing. It's basically, if I remember correctly, it was golden syrup, lemon, cayenne pepper in water mixed together, and that's all you have all day, every day for 2 weeks. You can't consume food.
What?
You just have that.
Wow.
I got through 3 days.
It does sound very extreme. Where did you get this from?
I don't know. I don't know who did it. I think it was one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I was like, I must try this.
So there was a whole string of failed fad diets on your journey.
Yeah, and I remember my mum and my auntie dragging me to Slimming World because back in the day they tried it and it worked for them, but it wasn't working for me. Partly because the women at that time who were running the group were larger ladies, and I couldn't understand why they were telling me what to do, because as far as I'm concerned, practice what you preach. So I'd already shut off from them. And then the whole red day, green day, buy our products, that wasn't for me. And to me, it just, in my head, it was, this is commercial, I don't want to get involved. So I went for a couple of months for them, and then I just stopped going.
So before we get into what actually worked for you, what was it that made you want to lose weight then? Because obviously you knew you were big and you tried little bits and pieces, but what was the final thing that said, right, I need to do something serious here?
I woke up, this is literally what happened. I woke up one morning and I thought, I don't want to live like this anymore. This is not the life that I want. This is not the life that I envisaged. There are so many things I want to do, but my confidence is holding me back. And I am literally the only person alive who can do anything about it. So what am I waiting for? Literally, I just woke up and that was the thought. And then that's how it all began.
That was a great thought to have to start with. That's just crazy. Wow. Can you take me through what you might have eaten on an average day when you were big?
I'd have toast for breakfast. And when I say toast, I mean 3 or 4 slices of toast with butter and Marmite and maybe jam for good measure, with a cup of tea with sugar. And then at lunchtime, I'd probably have maybe a fish finger sandwich or a chicken sandwich. And that would have ketchup or mayo or cheese or a combination of all 3, who knows. And probably the same for dinner. And I think there was, when I was at uni and I was being a real lazy cow, there'd be days where I'd just have a whole box of cereal throughout the day. It could be Cheerios, it could be Crunchy Nut. And it wasn't their recommended small baby portion size. It was a proper bowl of cereal 3-4 times in one day. It wasn't good. It wasn't good times.
So back then, obviously, you didn't know anything about food. You just ate what you wanted.
Yeah, basically.
And I suppose now, though, you've lost all this weight, you know a lot more about food?
Absolutely, yes. I see food in a completely different way now. I appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate the fact that it's fueling my body. It's providing me energy. It's more of, what is it giving to me? What's nutritionally, is it doing me any good?
And that, I suppose, is something you've just learned throughout your journey.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a picture with you and your brother. He was big as well, and you've both lost an incredible amount of weight. Did you inspire him? Did he inspire you?
So I started what I call my actual weight loss in July 2018. And by October 2018, he'd seen that I'd not given up. Like normal, I'd do 1-2 weeks, a month, maybe 3, and then stop. But this time I'd actually carried on, and he could see that I'd lost weight. And then he decided, okay, if she can do it, so can I. So he went to my PT at the time, and he joined with him. And then he started his weight loss journey in October of 2018.
Wow. And you both now look absolutely brilliant. You've both stuck to it and look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
You said just then that you had a PT, a personal trainer. Was that one of the things you decided to go and do when you had that moment of, right, I need to change my life?
Yeah, so that morning that I woke up with that newfound kind of invigoration, I got my laptop out, and I'm one of those people whose laptop is literally next to their bed. So I literally picked it up, opened it up, looked at PTs close by to me, got in touch with a few of them, and essentially I interviewed them, which sounds weird.
I love that. No, why not? A PT is a very personal thing. You've got to get on with the PT, and you've got to see what results they've had with other clients and things like that. It's brilliant that you interviewed them.
I mean, it was more that because I'd woken up with this newfound kind of direction, I wanted to make sure that they were on the same page as me. And I know there are a lot of PTs out there who try and offer you a quick fix or slash your calories and tell you, right, you're only having this and you're only having that. And I didn't want that, because I'm quite stubborn as a person. I'm only going to do what I believe, or if it makes sense to me, I will do it. And I knew for myself, in order for this to stick, it needed to be a lifestyle choice and a lifestyle change, which is why I've never called it a diet, because for me, it's a life. It's my new life. And this particular coach, Philip Perry, I messaged him. We were communicating via email, and I said to him, right, I want to lose 100 pounds. I plucked this figure out of the air, and so I want to lose 100 pounds. Can we do that? But I want to lose it sustainably. And I gave him my whole spiel, and he said, right, if you want to lose 100 pounds in a month, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to offer you any skinny teas, skinny coffees, skinny jabs, tablets, nothing. You're going to do it. You're going to do it the right way. And forget the 100 pounds. We're going to lose 1 pound at a time. And that for me was the most profound thing any human has ever said to me. And it was, forget about the big goal. Let's just worry about 1 pound. We'll lose that pound, and then we'll lose another. And I thought, oh my God, we're always chasing this huge number. And it seems so far away that along the way we give up. We think, you know what, it's too far away. I'm going to bin that off. But with him, it was, right, you want to lose 100 pounds? Fine. That's what you've said in your mind. No problem. Let's just look at the first 10. And out of that first 10, let's lose 1. And suddenly, it wasn't a struggle anymore.
What a brilliant way of thinking about it, because you're so right. We all set these, well, say when you're trying to lose weight, you set this big goal of, I want to lose 2, 3, 4 stone. And after a week of not losing anything, you get disheartened. You're like, oh, this is rubbish. I'm not doing this anymore. What a great way of thinking about it. 1 pound at a time.
Yeah.
So what were you doing with your PT and with your food that worked for you then, that you started seeing results? So
with my PT, it wasn't just the fact that I thought I needed him. It's because I was scared that I would go into a gym and people would judge me. And in my head, I thought, if I walk into a gym with a personal trainer, they'll know that I'm serious and I'm actually there to do something.
You see it again. I didn't go to the gym. I hated going to the gym on my own as a big guy because A, I didn't know what I was doing, and B, I looked stupid in sports shorts and T-shirts. Being the size I was, everything was really tight, and I felt really self-conscious about it and hated it. So what a great idea to do that. Go with someone else, especially a PT.
Well, I thought, number one, he knows what he's talking about, and number two, he's going to push me. As human beings, we don't want to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations. We don't want to do anything out of our comfort zone. A PT doesn't care. He will push you within safety limits so you don't break your back. But if you think you can only do 12 reps, he'll make sure you do 15. And I need that. I need someone to push me. So I would train with him twice a week for an hour at a time. And food-wise, it was just at that time, initially, let's just slowly cut out the bad stuff. Let's not eliminate anything because you're going to want it more. If I say no to you, you're going to want it more. So let's try and swap it for something else. Or if you want to have it, maybe have it near the end of the week or have it as a treat, or trying to figure out ways where I could still have what I want, but in a more controlled way where I've actually thought about it first.
So you weren't counting calories as such then?
Not at the beginning, definitely not. Because to me, at the time, I was still quite stubborn in the sense that, oh, I don't need to worry about that. If I just start eating healthier, the weight will drop off. And that's not what happened, which is then why I found out, or tried to find out, what was going on inside, which led to 3-4 months of conversations with my GP, going for blood tests and finding out that I have got polycystic ovaries, which means that I do need to eliminate or reduce certain foods because my body just doesn't like them. And when I started doing that and tracking my calories, then it just kind of...
So at the beginning then, you were seeing a personal trainer, you were working out, you were cutting bad things out of your diet, but the weight wasn't really coming off.
It was, but it was a lot slower than I had anticipated or I had envisaged. So I got to, I think in 6 months' time, I dropped 45 pounds, which isn't bad. It's not bad. It's a good number. But then I hit a stall. I was at 215 for about 3 months, and for the life of me, I could not figure out what was going wrong. Which is then when I thought, okay, right, I need to adjust certain things to account for the polycystic ovaries. But I also need to figure out, what am I actually consuming? Because calories is just calories in versus calories out. You're going to burn a certain number, but what are you putting in? And then I figured out, okay, calorie deficit, and started tracking my calories on my Fitness Pal. And I realized, actually, everything I'm burning, I'm consuming pretty much around the same. And if I want to lose and get out of this slump, I'm going to have to cut the calories a bit more. And I did that, and then it started up again. It was that simple.
So what was it then that kept you motivated during this period where you weren't losing any weight? Because for a lot of people to get stuck in that place would have been like, this is rubbish. Nothing's working. I'm just going to give up. I'm not doing this anymore. How did you keep motivated?
So I started my Instagram account once I'd lost 20 pounds. And at that point, then I was like, okay, I'm going to document every 10 pounds and see how it goes. So whenever I'd have that moment of self-doubt or moment of frustration, I'd look back at the pictures and I'd think, right, this is where you were 45 pounds ago. Do we want to go back here? No. How hard have we worked in the last 6 months? Do we want that work and that money to go to waste? No. So we're just going to keep pushing. We're going to keep trying. We're going to change something. We're going to try and figure this out, because we do not give up. And it was just pushing myself, because I'd seen how far I'd come. I'd noticed the changes within myself where I was a bit more confident. I was a bit more comfortable in the clothes I was wearing. And I thought, yeah, I definitely don't want to go back there. Even if I'm stuck here for now, that's okay. But we just don't want to go back.
It was that feeling then of, yeah, I've lost this weight now and I like how I feel. I could feel even better if I carry on going.
Exactly.
One of the best things I remember was losing a load of weight and actually being able to go shopping in a normal clothes shop and picking something up off a hanger and going, I can actually buy this and wear it now. I haven't got to order clothes online and wait for them.
Absolutely. I was always one of those girls who's like, oh, I don't want to go shopping. Oh, I don't like shopping. I can't be bothered. My aunties love shopping. So they'd be like, oh, come shopping with us. And I would know that there's no way I'm going to find my size. So what's the point? But I wouldn't say that. I'd just say, oh, I don't want to today. Or no, you guys go. I can't be bothered. Whereas now you need to drag me out of the bloody shops.
The way it should be. I love that. Brilliant. Was there anyone back when you were fat that pointed out that your weight was not good for you, or that you needed to lose weight?
Absolutely everyone. Obviously people can't see me. I'm Asian, and Asian, in the Asian culture / community, when you go to weddings or funerals or any function where there's 100, 200, 300 Asians in a room, you've got the Asian aunties, and they'll look at all the girls. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Isn't she lovely? And then they'll come to you, the fat one, and they'll say, you've got a lovely face. For Asian aunties, they'll never call you fat. This is the word they'll use. Healthy. Oh, you look healthy. And we all know what that means within ourselves. We know that means you're fat. And I thought, right, okay. And I would ignore them and carry on living my life. One of my aunties bribed me, or tried to, with shopping. She said, okay, for every single pound you lose, I will give you a physical pound, and I will buy you a whole new wardrobe, new shoes, new makeup, new everything. She was willing to spend thousands of pounds if I would just lose some weight. And I didn't do it. I was that stubborn. I was like, no, I can't do it. I won't do it. I've got big bones, all the excuses come out. I've got wide hips, I've got big bones. My nan would tell me, oh yeah, she's big boned, leave her alone, don't worry about it, just feeding into my excuses. I think my mum, like, she was always worried about like my health and the size of me. I had certain family members call me baby hippo or baby elephant to see if that would trigger something, because they tried the nicey approach. They thought maybe that would get me angry and give me the vigor to do something, and it didn't. So until it clicked in here, it just didn't.
That's a really important thing. You've got to want to do it for yourself. My grandpa was exactly the same. He tried to bribe me all kinds of things to make me lose that weight. And I would lose a little bit of weight and he'd be like, all right, you've lost a bit, you can have it. Great. And then I'd go and put it back on again. And until it actually clicks, as you say, in your brain, and that you really want to do it, you're never going to do it. Never try and lose weight for someone else for another reason. It's got to be because you want to do it, because it just won't happen otherwise.
Anything you do in life, you have to do for yourself, because that's the only way it's going to stick. And it's the only way you're going to make yourself happy. There's no point trying to make other people happy when you yourself are sad on the inside.
So I'm just going to go backwards a bit here. You had your personal trainer, you were looking after your diet, and then you hit that stop. What worked after that helped you carry on going? You said you started counting calories. Did you just carry on with your personal trainer for the exercise, or was there something else that helped you lose that weight?
So with the exercise, I felt like I needed to change it up a bit. So I started taking combat HIIT classes twice a week at the gym near work, which was basically a combination of half an hour of HIIT circuits or something, and then half an hour of essentially like glove and pad work, combinations and things like that, which I really, really enjoyed. So I would do weight training twice a week and I would do combat HIIT twice a week. So I upped my training sessions and I religiously started tracking my calories. And the way I did it, which I try and applaud everyone to do for at least 2-3 weeks, I'm not saying do it for life, but at least 2-3 weeks, actually weigh your food. Don't just say, oh yeah, I had chicken salad. Actually, when you're making the chicken, so this is what I do. When I do meal prep on a Sunday, I'll then batch it out. So I'll get my containers and I'll weigh 200 grams of cooked chicken and put it in each container, and 100 grams of cooked couscous. Then I know what I'm consuming. I'm not just guessing my calories. I'm actually looking at what it actually is. How many calories is it, and what are my protein macros? And that's what. So when I hit that 215 mark, that's what I did. I was like, right, I'm going to weigh my food. I'm going to log it. If I'm putting a teaspoon of honey in my tea, I need to know what that teaspoon of honey is worth calories wise, because the number of times we don't write down our liquid calories is where we go wrong. The coffees, the teas, the cokes, the gin and tonics, all those things that we pretend we didn't have, it all adds up.
And also, you don't realize how many calories can be in a coffee shop drink, for example. By the time they put in some syrups and you have milk and maybe a bit of cream on top, that's a decent little meal right there.
Absolutely, that easily 300-400 calories. So when I do go out with my friends, I'll make sure I order a coconut milk latte with sugar-free vanilla syrup, because I know it will be around 100-120 calories instead of 300-500 calories.
I always thought coconut milk was a bit more fatty.
So I tried almond milk, I tried oat milk, and I tried coconut milk. And for me, coconut milk gave me the sweetness that I needed in my coffee or my tea. It gave me that. When I have tea, I still have blue top whole milk, because you can't beat normal milk in a cup of tea. You just can't. But with my coffee, I'll use coconut milk, or if I make iced coffees in the summer, coconut milk.
So you don't cut out all your fats then, for example, with the milk?
Oh, no. I still have cheese. I still, but I change. So I'll still have what I want, but I'll have less of it. So I know I'm only going to have maybe 3 cups of tea in the week. Why compromise the flavor? I'm going to eat cheese. Why compromise on the type of cheese that I want? Because I'm not going to have it every day. I'll have it maybe two times in the week. Things like that. The things that give you a bit of joy, at least have what you want.
I suppose it's just the amount, isn't it, really? Don't overdo it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You mentioned meal prep in there. Do you religiously meal prep all your meals, or?
So I'll do meal prep on a Sunday, which will get me through to maybe Wednesday, Thursday. And then, so I basically meal prep twice a week. And for my family, it's quite boring because I'll just batch cook. I want to be in and out of that kitchen within 1 hour.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think for my Instagram followers, they were like, oh, I don't have time. I've got, I just don't have the time. I was like, right, we're going to time this. So I timed the minute I walked into the kitchen, cut the chicken, cooked the chicken, weighed it, prepped it, did the couscous, wiped all the surfaces down, washed all the pans, put everything in the fridge, 1 hour and 15 minutes. I said, right, anyone who's got any excuses, 5 meals, 1 hour, 15 minutes. You're telling me you don't have an hour and 15 minutes?
That is brilliant. And you've got all your decent meals sorted. You've done it in an hour and 15. Do you have the same thing every week, though? Or do you mix it up? Have you got lots of little recipes to go to?
Right. So I mentioned that I've changed my view of food. To me, it's fuel, essentially. So I'll change the seasonings, but I know every single day for lunch, I am having chicken and I'm either having couscous or salad with that chicken. I know that for a fact, unless my brothers decided to cook, in which case, hallelujah, because then I didn't have to do it. But other than that, yeah, I know I'm going to have chicken. I'm going to have couscous or quinoa or maybe sweet potato. The carb is going to change, but the protein will always be chicken. And I'll just change the spices that I've used just to change the flavor. Other than that, it's really simple because I don't want to be in there for hours and hours. Nobody does.
Do you still track your calories now then?
So I do 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. So by that, I mean, so maybe the first 2 weeks of the month, I'll use the app and I'll track everything. And then the next 2 weeks, I'll just eat intuitively. So because I've been doing it for so long, I can look at a piece of chicken and guesstimate roughly within a 10 gram plus or minus how much it is. So I don't need to track all the time. I can go out with my friends and have a meal and roughly know how much has gone onto that plate. So I don't necessarily track all the time now. So I'll do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, just to kind of keep in check, as it were.
So along your journey, you've been able to obviously learn about food, all the calories. What do you do to spoil yourself? Do you spoil yourself? Obviously, you mentioned about having blue top milk there. You little rebel. But do you ever have like ice cream or chocolate bars and things like that?
Absolutely. I think when I first started this, I said to myself, right, you're doing this to change your lifestyle, and eventually, once you've hit your goal, you can then start eating what you want again. But for those first 2 years, or just shy of 2 years that it took me to get to my 100-pound goal, I was quite strict. I was the girl that would go out and have eggs with a side of eggs because she didn't want the toast, or I was going to have a side salad for the starter and then a main salad for the main. I literally was the girl who had salad with salad or eggs with eggs.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was fine with that. I was happy with that. If anyone had a problem with it, as far as I was concerned, that's your problem. I'm doing this for myself. But once I'd hit my 100 pounds, I was like, right, what do I want to incorporate into my life so that I don't miss these things? So I now have dark chocolate, like 80-90% dark chocolate. I'll have that maybe 5 times a week, if I'm honest with you.
Just a little cube.
Two of the squares. Yeah, 2 cubes of the Lindt or the Lindt, because it's quite bitter. You don't really want to have more than 2.
Yeah.
So I'll have Lindt. Options hot chocolate is a lifesaver because it's only 40 calories, but you get that sweet hit. What else do I have? Ice cream, but you can get Halo Top. You can get the whole tub for like 350 calories.
I love this whole. I love ice cream, and it's the one thing I really missed when I was losing weight. And I love the fact that now there's so many different ice creams that are like, because you say 350 calories for a tub. Not that I want to sit there and eat the whole tub, but at the same time, you just get that ice cream hit that I'm like, oh, yeah, that's good.
Absolutely.
So how do you keep fit on the exercise side now? Do you still have a personal trainer, or have you learned more about your body and what works for you?
I've definitely learned more about my body and what works for me. I know, hands down, I am not a cardio god. I can't be there hours. I never have. Even when I started off with coach, I never, like, we did 10 minutes of cardio just to warm up at the beginning and then 10 minutes at the end to cool down. Everything else was weight training.
I find cardio so boring. I don't know how people can do 40 minutes, an hour on a bicycle or something like that. Like, for hats off, if that works for you, it's great.
That's what I'm saying. I'm no cardio god. I'm just not. That's not my lifestyle. It's not for me. I'd rather go out for a 45-minute walk in the park, or wherever, like somewhere there's a bit of scenery, or if I've got a good playlist on, I don't mind. I can walk hours on end. But if I've gone to the gym, I'm there to train. I'm there to do weight training. I'm there to practice my lifts, my squats, all these things. I want to focus on those. And I think a lot of women especially fail to realize that by lifting weights, you are not going to become a bulky man. You're not, unless that's what you're focusing and training to do. Unless you want to do comps, you're not going to do that.
That is one of the things I get a lot. I'm a personal trainer as well. And women all the time say to me, I don't want to put on a load of muscle. I don't want to have this man-like body. And it's like, you won't. You just need to be lifting some weights because it's really good at boosting your metabolism.
Exactly.
So what do you do down the gym then?
I follow like a weights program. So I always do kind of full body things. I don't really isolate as such. So if I've done an hour and 15 minutes, I'll start off with legs. I'll then move on to arms, core, glutes, and some finishes at the end. But yeah, I try and do the same exercises because then I can work on progressive overload. So if I know I've started off at 60 kilos on a high bar back squat, then I know, okay, I'm going to try and increase the reps. And when I've hit a certain rep range, then I'm going to drop down and add more weight on. And now for me, it's more body comp. While I was losing weight, it was, okay, let's try different things, get all the muscles going. But now it's less of let's lose weight because I don't want to. I'm happy where I am now. It's more body composition. What do I want my composition to look like? And what do I need to do to get that going? So that's what I'm working on now. And because I'm so interested in it and it's a big part of my life, I'm doing a personal training level 4 to get all the knowledge and do all those things because I love it that much. It's not a pain for me. It's not a task or a job. It's something I love.
That's exactly why I did it as well. I wanted to learn more about the body, and it was only when I started losing weight and actually felt good about myself. I was like, actually, I really enjoy learning about the body, and I want to know what else it can do, and I want to help other people have this feeling of it's fantastic losing weight. You can do it. There's nothing stopping you.
I just felt so good. I was like, I want other people to feel this good.
And that is brilliant. And it's such a lovely thing as well, because I speak to a lot of people who struggle with weight loss and they don't know where to turn or what to do. And when you can offer them some advice or some help, and you see them succeeding as well, it's just such a great feeling. Is there any one thing you can pinpoint that is the best thing about shedding all this weight?
The confidence.
Yeah?
By a mile.
What does this confidence help you achieve?
Just to talk to people, meet people, do things I wouldn't normally do. It literally, when I say to people, "Oh, I'm a totally different person," they're like, "Oh no, you're just you with the confidence." I'm like, actually, no, I don't even recognize who that person is or was, because I'm doing things which I never would have done before. I go out of my way to talk to people. I will talk to people in the gym and encourage them. And if people ask me questions, I'm not just going to be like, "Oh my God, please leave me alone." I'll actually have a conversation. I'll go out. I never used to go on nights out. So now I go out with my mates. I actually have mates, which sounds really sad, but it's true. I didn't have friends before, but I do now. I'm dating now and I'm confident. I don't try and pander to anyone's ego. I've actually found who I am and I know what I like and what I don't like. And I'm all right with that. And if people don't like it, that's a them problem. I've also got that newfound attitude of, I like what I like and you like what you like. I'm happy with you living the way you're living. As long as you're not trying to impose anything on me, we're good. But if you want to throw things at me, no thanks, bye.
I love that way of thinking. That is brilliant. So what would you say, if you could sum up, what is your one secret to weight loss?
Do it. Do it for yourself. The secret is you do it for you. Once you've pinpointed your why, hold on to it. Write it down. Write it on your mirror. Wherever you wake up in the morning, that one morning you're going to wake up and think, "Oh, I can't be bothered." Look at your why, get your ass off the bed and get out the door and do what you have to do. Find your why. That is the secret.
Aishah, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. I love your secret. That is fantastic. Because you've gone a step further as well, haven't you? You've set up something yourself to help people lose weight.
Yeah, so I was getting lots and lots of questions on Instagram about how I'm losing it or how I've lost it and how they can lose it. And I thought, well, if I can help more people, why don't I try doing that? And then that's where Project Fineapple came about. It was Fineapple, like, I want you to feel fine. Like, looking fine is great. You want to look fine, but you want to feel fine. It's about that feeling. So for me, it's like, if I can give that feeling to you, I want you to have that. And that's where it's come about, to help you, keep you accountable and get you going, because sometimes you need the direction. Sometimes you need someone to be like, okay, you want to do this, I'll help you get off the ground and create a habit and a lifestyle change, and then you can kind of nourish that yourself. So it's that kind of push of accountability you need at the beginning of your journey.
And you've got a podcast about this and a website as well, right?
Yeah. The podcast is the Fineapple Show on Spotify.
I like it, the Fineapple Show.
Yeah, and it's not always about weight loss, but it can be about anything and everything. We did one on men's mental health, perception, winning, or anything and everything.
So it's the Fineapple Show. Get it from wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
And what's the website?
www.projectfineapple.co.uk.
Aishah, thank you so much for your time today. Good luck with your personal training course, and your weight loss journey is absolutely incredible. Top work.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining us as well. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And of course, if you missed anything that Aishah was talking about, the links, her podcast, her website, you can find all the details on our website, thesecretsofweightloss.com.
The Secrets of Weight Loss.